welcome to episode 5 of the Weird, Wild, and Wonderful Illinois podcast. I'm Miranda Bailey Peets, Communications Director for the Illinois State Historical Society. And this week we are joined by Stephanie Martin of the Springfield Lincoln Public Library, who is also the curator of the
Manager, yeah.
of the Sangamon Valley Collection at the library. So welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, can you explain to everyone just exactly what the Sangamon Valley Collection entails and, what all you might have for people who want to come and research in the collection?
Sure. So we are located in Springfield, Illinois at the Lincoln Library, Springfield's public library. We are a local history and genealogy collection. We are located at the main branch downtown, and we are on the third floor. We were founded in the 1970s. We cover Springfield, Sangamon County, and the 10 surrounding counties. We are a non-circulating collection, so we're kind of a combination of a library and an archive.
Mm-hmm.
We have primary and secondary sources, and we have materials. We have thousands and thousands of photographs. We have city and county directories, high school yearbooks. Those are some of our most popular resources.
Mm-hmm.
City and county government documents, long-range plans and surveys. We have local histories on a variety of topics that people have compiled. We have published family histories.
Mm-hmm.
We have deed books, so land transfers. We have maps and periodicals, whether magazines, local newspapers. We also have a lot of newsletters from different organizations. Books about a variety of topics, and then we have subject vertical files.
Okay.
So anything from churches, schools, people, businesses, houses. We have, like I said, we started in the 1970s, so it's based on the Library of Congress subject headings, and we've put in photos, we've put in newspaper clippings, we've put in brochures, restaurant menus, all kinds of ephemeral things. So if someone says, I'm looking for maybe the history of my school, let's say Enos school, then we'd have something on that. Or I'm looking for something on Washington Park. We
Mm-hmm.
could give them the many folders we have on Washington Park. So,
Yeah. And I've done a lot of research there at the Sangamon Valley Collection in the past, of course. But it's fair to say that this is very much Springfield and the Sangamon Valley area, but does not include Abraham Lincoln. For those that are coming to Springfield to talk about Abraham Lincoln.
so obviously he was a resident. So we do cover him in that way.
Mhm.
He's in the 1855 city directory that we have. So, but we let the other Lincoln Library in town cover Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. So definitely, sometimes we get confused because of the name, but so we do have files on Lincoln because, of course, we focus more on his time here in Springfield and Sangamon County and up in New Salem. But we let the other presidential library or the other Lincoln Library cover him more.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's like it seems like it's such a tricky balancing act, especially here in the Springfield area, about how much you cover Lincoln or commit to covering other history in the area that's
Sure,
not
sure.
Lincoln related, and
Yeah,
I
so one of our neighbor is the Lincoln Home.
Mhm.
So we do support them and partner with them on, what was Springfield like or what was the neighborhood like when Lincoln was here. So we can give some more of that context too.
Exactly. And just because I happened to catch it live streaming this earlier this week, you guys actually opened up a time capsule from 1976.
We did. So the current building that we're in opened in 1977.
Hmm.
Before that, had a Carnegie Library that had opened in 1904 and was torn down at the same location in 1974. So we had a time capsule from 1976, which didn't luckily go into the cornerstone of this building because otherwise we wouldn't be able to see it. But of course, in 1976, with the bicentennial of America,
Hmm.
people were thinking about history and kind of capturing that time period. So we did open that time capsule, 50 years. We had some neat things in there. We had a few newspapers. We had some Springfield newspapers from Christmas and July 4th.
Hmm.
We had a Lincoln Library newsletter. We had a St. Louis newspaper. I believe we might have had a Chicago newspaper.
Hmm.
There was actually a state register, I believe, from 1876 that had gone in
Oh,
there. So that was kind of cool. There were some other programs and things from the bicentennial celebration
hmm.
here in Springfield. And there was a Illinois Blue Book from 1976, the state song, and yeah, just I think there was a calendar. So
Hmm.
a variety of things. There was a flag. So yeah, that was really neat. We did not know what was going to be in it. Sometimes, if they're putting something in a cornerstone, I've been a part of a couple cornerstone openings.
Hmm.
Uh, they put it in the newspaper. They're like, we are burying this cornerstone, or we're putting this cornerstone or this time capsule in a cornerstone, and this is what we're putting in it. Like they did that for the YWCA
Hmm.
when they put the things in there. They said, "Here's a list of what we're going to have in it."
Hmm.
When they put in the Temple Brush Shalom time capsule in the cornerstone, they said, "Okay, here's a list of what we're putting in there."
Yeah.
I could not find in the newspaper anything about the Lincoln Library time capsule, so
Hmm.
I was not sure what was in it, going to be in it, or what kind of condition it was going to be in. It was just in a metal box,
Hmm.
but it had held up pretty well.
Yeah.
So
Was there anything surprising in that time capsule?
I think the 1876 newspaper was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Um, it
Yeah.
was in pretty good shape. We do have the State Journal and State Register digitized.
Hmm.
So I had seen those papers, and we have some in print also that we have, but I was expecting a lot of 1976 stuff. I wasn't expecting an 1876
1876. No.
newspaper. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Um, so kind of thinking about the time capsule thing, if you were to do another one right now, what do you think you'd put in it for somebody to open up 50 years from now?
Sure. Well, we'd do a newspaper, a newspaper, put some newspapers in it. I think what we're hoping to do for America 250, one of our initiatives for that is doing a photo, I want to call it a photo capturing or photo gathering,
Hmm.
and having people take pictures of everyday life in Springfield
Hmm.
on July 4th this year. And so we'd probably print those out and put them in a time capsule. If we might do a 25 or a 50 year, I'm not quite sure yet.
Hmm.
Um, but something like a gas station, or maybe what was the price of gas kind of, or
Exactly.
what did your church look like, or what did downtown look like, just capturing life in
Yeah.
Springfield.
Hmm.
So we're hoping to do that, and then um, maybe something like America Means to Me, or Hopes for America, or something like that. Have a bulletin board where we can gather that information and then put that in a time capsule too.
Hmm.
So kind of capturing people's feelings, people's thoughts. So it's not just us decide, what to put in a
Yeah.
time capsule, but kind of capturing a mood
The
that would
vibes.
be interesting. But yeah, definitely photographs, and we will print them because like on photographic paper, because if I put a thumb drive in there, who knows, in 25 to 50 years,
It's
if
just going to be so outdated
people will be able to read
technology.
it. I'm glad that I couldn't tell you what kind of a magnetic tape they would have put something on in the 70s. Like we would have been like, okay, well, sorry, it's not very useful to us,
Mhm.
even floppy disks or something like that. It's harder to have that to be able to read it. So
Mhm.
we will print it. And hopefully that will will last a while.
Yeah. So, well, that sounds like a fun project. So, how does somebody get involved in that? Like
Yeah, so
with
once we get closer to July 4th,
hmm
probably May, June, we'll start putting out information on how to submit your photos.
Okay,
So, and we
great.
might even have a display of
hmm
them later in the year. If we
hmm
get some really, really neat ones,
Yeah.
we can display those in SVC.
Yeah. So, thinking back to the entirety of the Sangamon Valley Collection, we are the it's the podcast is weird, wild, and wonderful.
Mhm.
So, is there anything people might be surprised to find in the Sangamon Valley Collection?
Surprise to find. I think, I mean, it's not that wild. It's kind of a basic SV is a library
hmm
or archive thing, but something pretty neat that we have is these abstract of deed books that
hmm
were put together by a title company.
Okay.
So when they were doing land research, and you have your title and okay, who did it um, go to and go from? So
hmm
we have these from a title company, and a lot of deed books from a government agency might be grantor grantee.
hmm
So um, if you don't know their names,
Yeah.
it's harder to find. You're like, okay, my granddad's property was up in the northern part of Sangamon County or something, but I don't know. Other than him, I don't know how to go back further.
Yeah.
These are by land description. So township, section, township, and range. So section 15, township 15, range 6 north, and
Mhm.
then the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter. And we have those back to um, the 1820s when
Oh,
they
wow.
actually
Yeah.
um, started selling the land in Sangamon County, and we have them up until about 1900.
hmm
So you can do pretty extensive land research with those, and then go to the deeds that either IRAD has or that have been digitized. So
hmm
um, it's a pretty neat resource that um, that we have, and it's pretty unique to
Yeah.
us.
I, like I said, I've done research there a lot, with family history and stuff, and I think the thing that most surprised me were the plat books.
Oh yeah.
I
Hmm.
could pull out a plat book and see, where they've drawn in like the little houses with the names on them and, be like,
Yeah,
oh, this
yeah,
is
a
where,
church or an orchard or something. Yeah.
yeah, here's my grandparents' house, and now I'm finding out who all their neighbors are, and
Yeah.
you know,
And
and,
definitely with that, that's fun to look at. Very good chance that those families intermarried, you know.
hmm
So it's a when you're doing genealogy and things like that, it's interesting to look at those and or look at the census and be like, okay, what are the family names around there?
hmm
Pretty good chance that they intermarried. So
What has been is there anything that somebody has come and asked for that has been like really surprising to you that you're like, I would have never thought to ask for that, or we
um
have that because that's just too outrageous?
that's my favorite part of the job is learning along with the patrons.
hmm
I've worked at the library in the Sangamon Valley Collection for 11 years.
hmm
And that's my favorite part is those questions and being like, I don't know off the top of my head, but we're going to do the research and we're going to
hmm
figure this out. So a couple of those stories are I was doing a presentation and a woman was saying, I remember that my family had this deer
Mm-hmm.
that was on a building downtown. And I don't remember all the details, but that she remembers this, that her family had this deer from a building downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, just kind of put it in my head. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I don't really know much about it. And then like 2 years later, I'm looking through photographs and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's that deer on a building. And it was actually on the Elks building.
Okay.
Um, so I was able to remember who it was and
Mm-hmm.
then get back to her and be like, yes, here it was.
Yeah.
So cool things like that. This is, if you want to talk about weird and wacky and wild, um, we have people ask, and they might not come right with it,
Mm-hmm.
like out with it, like why they're asking, and no shame on, what your question is. I definitely want to put it out there. I will not judge what your question is. I mean, it may be out there, but no
Mm-hmm.
judgment. Like, come ask it. But some people want to, like, the end point is, I think there's ghosts in my house. But they start out with, how do I figure out if someone died in my house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think one of the more wild ones was this lady had come in and she was wondering what was going on with her property because there were tiny bones in her yard.
Hmm.
Tiny,
Tiny bones.
tiny bones in her yard. And like, oh, I don't know apparently there had been a mink farm on her property. And so we found this in the newspaper.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, well,
Would explain it.
that explains it. It's either the minks or maybe they're feeding them like chickens or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but that was one of the more out there ones where I was like, wow, like
Yeah.
was not expecting that when I came to work today. But that is my favorite part where biz people come in with interesting questions. And really we have the newspaper or the State Journal Register digitized from
Mm-hmm.
1831 to the present. So that's really been a game changer with doing research.
Mm-hmm.
When I started here, it was only digitized through like 1920 or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And we've gotten the rest of it digitized, and it's really been a game changer with research.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to figure out, okay, who had lived there,
Mm-hmm.
through the city directories and things like that, who had lived on the property, and then I put their name in the newspaper, and they had mink farms on their property. And this wasn't like not really far out of the city,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like being a detective. That's my
Mm-hmm.
favorite part of the job. I think that my staff here is pretty good at it. They're curious, that's what you have to be when you do this kind of work is, being really curious, persistent. You run into brick walls and be like,
Oh yeah.
okay, how, let's work backwards. Let's,
Mm-hmm.
do a tangent to get, maybe find it a different way.
Yeah.
And knowing the resources, and then yeah, just being persistent and thinking outside the box sometimes. But
Yeah,
that's,
I've found like doing my own genealogy research there.
yeah.
My family was all in Cass County and Morgan County, and I couldn't find obituary information for an ancestor or death information. And it turned out I found it in the Sangamon Valley Collection because she died in Springfield.
Oh, sure.
She had moved in with a daughter like the
Mm-hmm.
last 2 years of her life
Mm-hmm.
and died in Springfield. And so all the information was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is wild
Yeah.
that you
Or
find it.
maybe they came to St. John's or
Mhm.
Memorial. They had lived out in the country or something, but maybe they died in the hot,
And yeah,
came into town, like yeah, lived with a family member or
you
died
just
at St. John,
yeah,
died
yeah,
in town.
yeah. You never. It's you really have to kind of think differently
Yeah.
to find it. And I was like,
Exactly.
this
Exactly.
is yeah, this especially growing up in Morgan County, you're like, oh, everybody goes to Jacksonville, everybody goes to Passavant, everybody, and you're just like, oh, I would have never thought to look in the Sangamon Valley collection
Hmm.
for her because everything was so Morgan and Cass County coded.
Yeah.
And, so like I said, I've found personally good benefit from the Sangamon Valley
Well,
Collection.
good. That's good to hear.
Um, what is there any kind of holdings that you guys have at the Sangamon Valley Collection that, people might be like, oh, that's weird. I wouldn't have thought the Salmon Valley Collection would have that. I would have thought more, state archives or the, Illinois State Library or, different places that you're like, no, no, we have it here. And
Yeah, we do have some um like those deed books.
hmm
Those are something that is unique to us. We do have, oh goodness, a lot of maps. We have
yeah.
a lot of maps. I know the state library has a great map collection,
hmm
but we're working on our um, inventorying our map collection, so we know what we have, and then we're going to catalog it too, so it's more searchable. And we have maps, Springfield, Sangamon County, yeah, all of our 10 counties, and then Illinois, and then not just road maps, but we have like Springfield sewer maps and like where the sewer lines are
hmm
and railroad maps
hmm
and streetcar maps and those kinds of things. So yeah, just definitely the map collection is growing and um, always something that we're and sometimes people are like, "You want this?" And I'm like, "Of course I want that." Current stuff,
Yeah.
stuff that's happening now. Um, I want the ephemera. I want the brochure, the poster,
hmm
menu, um, all of that kind of stuff. Like I'm definitely collecting for today,
Yeah.
for tomorrow,
For tomorrow. Yeah. They
so yeah.
are people kind of, I guess, surprised at the vastness of the collection there? You're like, oh, on the surface it's just the local library, but it seems like there's such a vast collection there that it's almost like, you expect that kind of a collection, like I said, with the state archives or with the state library. And you do have such a huge collection that people are surprised about how much you do have.
Yeah, I think so. We're trying to get the word out all the time. Um, I know a lot of people when they're like, "Oh, Sangamon Valley Collection," and they're like, "Oh, the hidden gem." I'm like, we are a gem. I don't want to be so hidden."
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's great to be on, your podcast to get the word out.
hmm
We do a lot of programs in the community about specific topics, but then talk about um, what we do have in the collection.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk to different groups and things like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential for getting out in the community. We've attended, and you attended too, the Sangamon Experience,
hmm
different programs that we've been able to talk about what's at the collection, and so we're thankful for those opportunities to share with the public, to share with other local historians,
hmm
other people doing historical society, things like that, um, to just talk about what we have and then remind the public donate.
Yeah, donate.
um, or we want, we are trying to capture, we want stuff from today. If you have stuff um, from a club you've been in,
hmm
we take meeting minutes and all that kind of stuff. And then, um, or if you have stuff from your family,
hmm
we're interested in those kinds of things too.
And how much of the collection do you think is digitized that people can do online research,
Oh,
or do they need to come in person?
um, it's a very small amount. I mean, the state journal register, we have digitizing that has been amazing and a real game changer for people needing to come in,
hmm
right? You can do that with a Lincoln Library card from home or from anywhere,
hmm
and you can get the state journal register. through a service called Genealogy Bank. That's a
Mm-hmm.
subscription,
Mm-hmm.
like a personal subscription that if you're not don't have a Lincoln Library card, you live in Tucson,
Mm-hmm.
um, you can still get the State Journal Register through that digitized. So that has definitely, cut down on calls, obituary calls, things like that. With Ancestry and all those censuses digitized, um, that probably has cut down on
Yeah.
on those kinds of calls. Um, I think that Family Search has some marriage records online.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ancestry also has some city directories.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But
so
in
that's
other
cut
words,
down on those calls. But
still need to
we've
come in.
digitized for our one collection that we're working on right now. We're close to 60,000 images digitized from
Oh,
the
wow. Yeah.
Mercury Studio collection that
Mm-hmm.
we purchased a while ago. So we have a few collections online. We're working on getting more on that one. Right now, we probably only have like 600 images, and it
Mm-hmm.
just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, but that is through the Illinois Digital Archives,
Mm-hmm.
through the state library. So actually, over the summer, we had an intern, and that was part of their job was uploading the metadata and the images there. We have like amazing volunteers who do the digitization and then because they're negatives. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of work to, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of images, but they're really great. Like they're from
Uh-huh.
the I would say the 40s through right now we're in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing collection and it's really great stuff. But it just is taking us a while to get
Do
it
it. So.
digitized. Another thing that's on IDA is the Oak Ridge Cemetery registers.
Mm-hmm.
So those are really interesting because they are um, you can find, people in there. That's great for genealogy. It's also just an interesting social history
Uh-huh.
of what people are dying of at a particular time. Um, if you're, interested, it's like, oh, maybe 1819 people are dying of the flu, the
Mm-hmm.
Spanish influenza. And, oh, maybe there was some kind of natural disaster, like a tornado or something. You can kind of see. I mean, Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd are in there
Mm-hmm.
because they were buried in Oak Ridge. Um, so those things have been digitized. We have an aviation collection that photographic collection that's been digitized on IDA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we have our own through our catalog digitized images. A lot of our 1908 race riot images have been digitized on there. So we get between museums, researchers, journalists, book authors reaching out to us and being like, hey, can we use these images? Um, so.
Is there, yeah, I was going to ask actually about the 1908 race riots because
Mm,
I know just in uh, my own background, like when I studied history in college, that wasn't really talked about as much. And now it seems like it's being recognized and talked about and, studied a lot more nowadays. Have you seen a lot of change in the 11 years you've been there over certain topics like the 1908 race riots, where beforehand, yeah, we didn't really talk about that, but now you have a lot more people coming in to research, topics like that because of the shifting, you know, tides of, just our current, study of things.
sure, sure. So I'm actually on a committee and we've hosted a couple commemorations here at the library
Hmm.
over the last few years. I know in 2028, the
Hmm.
110th anniversary, we had a program and they rededicated the markers. They put some new markers up around the city last year. Um, we were part of a bigger committee with NAACP. We
Hmm.
hosted some events here and at the state library or the state museum we called it 3 hot days.
Hmm.
Um, and also at the 1908 monument site.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely with, the monument being formed, um, is there's a big recognition for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have the 3 hot days again this year. It's going to be August 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be programming, speakers, um, different kinds of activities. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm excited about more information about that. And this year, particularly, we're looking at the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
So what has come in the immediate, right after, and then kind of a lasting impact
Mm-hmm.
past that, even to today. So um, with the African American History Museum just put on their new 1908 exhibit is up, and with them reopening, that's a really great opportunity for more scholarship and just more people to know
Yeah.
the stories of the people and how it impacted Springfield and the the nation and the world with
Yeah.
NAACP forming
Mm-hmm.
and the connection to Springfield. Another thing that's coming up that we're excited about and to share more history on is women's baseball.
Okay.
Um, with the league being playing here, the Women's
Mm-hmm.
Professional Baseball League playing here. One thing that one of my colleagues has really been focusing on is women's baseball in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned so much about it, and which is really exciting, and learned about what Sangamon Valley Collection had on it, and
Mm-hmm.
then we can build it up.
Yeah.
So we already had a collection of the Springfield Sallies,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just discovering, oh wow, we have more. And finding in different boxes and then going out and um getting baseball cards and getting other items and reaching out to people who are like, yeah, we have this, and then going through boxes that we hadn't processed and then finding more, and it's
Yeah.
exciting. And so I think with the more history and the more interest in the league that's
Mm-hmm.
coming up, uh more interest in women's baseball and women's softball.
Mm-hmm.
So the Springfield Sallies played in 1948 here, and then they became a traveling league.
Mm-hmm.
They were part of oh my goodness, let's make sure I can say it right, All-American Girls Professional Baseball League.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually, 1875, the Blondes and Brunettes
Mm-hmm.
played here, the first women's professional baseball game. And then all of the different baseball and softball leagues that
Mm-hmm.
either played here or women who were from here, or the Bloomer girls who played, on their traveling kind of circuits, they
Mm-hmm.
played here. We also had Negro League baseball come through town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Um, I know the African American History Museum did an exhibit a couple of years ago on that, on the national scene, but they definitely had teams
Mm-hmm.
come here because, we're a good spot between St. Louis and Chicago, and between Detroit and Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So we attracted teams, and we had, people built the facilities to host them. So that could host them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one particular topic that I think that's interesting to me that we're getting more into is the women's baseball. And
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised to find out just how much baseball history did happen here in Springfield.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, quite honestly, you think of Springfield, you think, oh, there's Abraham Lincoln, there's all the Civil War stuff, there's state capitol stuff, but you don't think of Springfield being a mecca for baseball and softball.
Yeah, yeah. And we've and again, we want to build a collection around those things that happened in the past, but also document the league now.
Mhm.
what's happening now, and we want to be a repository for that. Um, because that's, maybe 20 years from now, that's what people will want to know.
Exactly,
So we
exactly.
always got to be thinking about, being proactive
Hmm.
about documenting for the future. I think there's been more interest in LGBTQ plus topics,
Hmm.
um, and folks and movements in Springfield. I know we did our walking tour. One of my colleagues put together a walking tour, which was really popular. Again, highlighting items from the collection and
Hmm.
physically doing a walking tour downtown,
Yeah.
but doing research in the collection and highlighting what we have.
Hmm.
And then we're looking forward to supplementing or and ac making acquisitions for more.
Hmm.
Again, documenting the current and just reaching out to folks. And um we have the Prairie Flame newspaper. We're getting that digitized. We're working on that.
Hmm.
That'll be available hopefully soon this year.
Hmm.
We had a bunch of volunteers digitize that, and so we can make that more accessible uh, to everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy uh, just learning and then having my colleagues, you know, guide some of their interests. We want the patrons to guide,
Hmm.
but also the people who are here and if they're interested in sports or if they're interested in a particular topic, it's like, okay, I want to encourage them to use those strengths and use those interests to present programs
Hmm.
and build the collection.
Yeah. So for people that might want to come, can you tell us again, you said you're on the third floor of the library.
Yes.
What are the hours that you guys are there?
Yeah, so we're at Lincoln Library, 326 South 7th Street. So we're at the corner of 7th and Capitol.
Hmm.
Our hours are a little different than the rest of the library. We're open from Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then Wednesdays, we're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Hmm.
And our website we're linked off of the Lincoln Library website. Our
Hmm.
email is svc@lincolnlibrary.info. You can always, or give us a call,
Hmm.
reach out to us that way, or you don't have to make an appointment, but if there's a particular topic,
Hmm.
that you're like, this might take a little longer,
Yeah.
and you want a little more in-depth assistance,
Hmm.
probably preferable to at
Make an
least reach
appointment.
out to us so we can pull things and then we can kind of do a little pre-research.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
And
you.
I hope maybe people will see this and then be able to start calling you and say, I have this in my attic that I found
That
from
would
my
be
grandmother.
wonderful.
So, in other words, yes, please call me with that stuff.
Yes, yes.
Alrighty. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.